Well, my story took place in Catalina. A friend of mine and I, he had a little boat, and we decided to go over there one day with his girlfriend. And of course, you have the obligatory case of Coronas there and a few limes, and threw all the scuba gear on the boat and took it over there and pulled up in Emerald Cove. And we're sitting there and went out, did a dive, came back, and sat on the beach out in the sun, and started taking my dive gear off. And we're looking at all the boats out in the cove. And there was one boat there called the Revo. And I was looking on the back, and you know, single guy, saw a girl in a bikini out sunbathing, and I was like, huh, look at that. And as I'm watching, another girl comes up. And she's standing there and kind of looking around, and then another, and then another, and then a big dog, but no guys. So I was kind of thinking to myself, this could be interesting. So I was watching the girl that was laying there sunbathing was drinking Corona. And she was just about empty. So I was sitting there talking to my friend, and I said, Kev? And he says, yeah. And I said, how much beer do we have left? And he goes, I don't know, we got like a couple sixes. And I said, you got any lime? He said, yeah. And I said, give me 2 beers and a lime. He said, what are you gonna do? And I said, I'm gonna go out there and flirt with that girl and get on that boat. And he goes, she's never gonna let you aboard. And I said, yeah, she will. And he said, no way, not gonna happen. So I geared up, grabbed 2 limes, my dive knife, and a couple of Coronas. Went down, swam out. And I came up off the boat and said, excuse me, and the girl rolls over and looks down and I said, you look like you're about empty, and holds up 2 beers and my limes. And she just goes, oh my God, you've got to come on board, meet my friends. So I climbed up, took my gear off, and sat there, and we had a beer, and then swam back in on the surface and wound up having dinner with her that night.
I've been diving approximately 12 and a half years. More than anything, I love the camaraderie among divers. I also love the sport and the adventure of it, and I particularly enjoy working with students. One of the students asked me about lifting heavy objects such as a dive belt and a weight belt and a tank. And I said, well, you grab it by the valve stem and you kind of rotate it on the bottom and you lift it up. And he looked at me very perplexed and he said, no, I don't understand. How do you pick up a tank? And I thought there was perhaps a language issue going on here. And I said, well, you grab it, not having a tank in front of me, I mimicked, you grab it by the valve stem and you lift it up. And he said, no. How can you do that unassisted? And I'm trying to understand where he was going with this, and I said, well, why do you think you need assistance to lift a dive tank up? He says, well, it is 3,000 pounds. Yeah. I said, no, that's 3,000 pounds of air and pressure.